Hello guys, I welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now I welcome you to the human resource management, that is the chapter 2 of the module 2, that is the selection process. So now we are going to learn about the methods of interview. So other different types of interview. Basically four types of interview: structured interview, unstructured interview, behavior interview as well as a stress interview. The first one is the structured interview. The first one is the structured interview. Means what? The interviewer uses a preset standardized questions which are put to all the questions, right? This interview is also called as a guided interview, as a pattern interview. Structured interview means, see, there is some concepts, there is some rules as well as regulations or else the guidelines that some people need to follow whenever they are taking the interview. It is like that this interview procedure should go in this flow, particular flow only. So this is called a structured interview. There are already some preset standardized questions which are put to all the interviews. For example, it means that there are some standardized questions. So these questions will be same for majority of all the types of interviewers. Next, unstructured interviewer. The question itself says that unstructured means it is unguided or else unpatterned interview, right? Basically, it is a friendly conversation takes place between the interviewer as well as the candidate. See, there is no rules or regulations like that. This interview must go like this only. For example, if I'm a HR manager, I should ask only these pertaining questions. There is no like that. So it is the wish of the interviewer. They can ask like any type of questions. It helps to reveal the candidate's desires and the problems. Basically, it is lack of uniformity, right? In the structured interview, there is a uniformity. Like these type of questions should be asked like this. For example, technical means in technical, the compulsory subjects they need to ask is DBMS, next data structure as well as the algorithms, operating system, computer networks, and security. So these are the four important subjects they need to ask. It comes as structured interview. Unstructured interview means not one. It's not compulsory that we need to ask this four subjects only. The next is about the behavior interview. Means what? It focuses on a problem or a hypothetical situation that the applicant is expected to solve. Basically, it is the behavior of any candidate will be analyzed, right? So pertaining to that, the questions will be raised. It reveals the applicant's ability to solve the different problems. So whether the candidate is able to solve the different problems or not. Validity is more likely if the hypothetical situations match those found on that job. The next is about the stress interview. Basically, it will help to find out how the applicant will respond to the pressure. Stress interview means these type of interviews can last for a longer period of a time, longer duration of a time, or else the candidate is supposed to wait for a longer time, mainly to check the stressness, whether they're able to sit for a longer period of a time. So basically, it checks their patience level. So here only. So it shows the different types of interviews. One to one means basically candidate and interviewer. So based on the two relationships, the questions will be asked. Next, sequential interview. There will be n number of, the first type is one to one interview means there will be one interview on one candidate. So one interviewer, he will be asking the questions to the candidate. The second one is one candidate but many interviewers, right? So many of the interviewers, they will be sitting along the panel, and one, for example, in all the IAS or IPS interviews like that only, a group of people will be sitting over the panel, and the questions, they'll raise the questions on one particular candidate. So these are about this. Basically, it is a panel interview. The next is about the basically one-to-one interview. So one-to-one interview means basically it is a face-to-face interview, right? So this interview is traditionally conducted by a direct supervisor and is often the last step in a series of interviews. The next is about the sequential interview. You can analyze over here. Sequential interview means it is conducted by two or more interviews separately or in a sequence, right? See, one candidate will be there and there will be two interviews. So they will ask some pertaining to the questions to that one. The candidate either moves from one location to another or stays in one room, and while different interviewers join over them. The next, it is the panel interview. Panel interview means basically it is converted by the two or more interviews, and it is designed to reduce the individual interview bias, so that the bias will be reduced over the person. It is very common for the entrance into the graduate and professional schools, right? Panel interview will be done basically whenever they want to hire the students. The next is about the group interview. You can analyze over here. The next is about the group interview. So group interview means it occurs whenever the several candidates for the position are interviewed simultaneously. This is also very important. See, if they want to do one-to-one interview or two interviewers, one candidate, it's a very time consuming process. So in our group interview, basically it is there will be more than one interview and there will be more number of candidates. So simultaneously the question will be asked. For example, a interviewer he'll ask the question. So who will answer the question correctly? Then they can get to know. Basically, a group of students will be seated over there. The candidates may also be asked to solve a problem together, which allows the interviewer to access the candidate skills in actions. Basically, teamwork. For example, it is see group interview. For example, group discussion means one particular topic will be given. They need to talk for and against. For example, even we need to raise our voice. So, hence, what are the main objectives of interview? Basically, it helps to obtain the additional information from the applicant. It facilitates giving the general information to the candidate, such as what are the policies of the company, jobs, products, manufacturing, like. It helps to build the company image among the applicants, right? So the next we are going to learn is about the interview process. The next, guys, we are going to learn about the different process in the interview. Basically, there are totally four different steps. First, preparation for the interview. We need to prepare for the interview, conduct the interview, close the interview, and evaluate the interview result. So first is about the preparation for the interview. See, basically they should choose the appropriate type of interview based on the job requirement. See, based on the job description, the different types of interview will be taken. Next, conducting the interview, right? They need to conduct the interview. Either it can be a on campus or else it can be a off campus. So basically, in on campus means basically it will all the test will be done over the computer, whereas online. Whereas the face-to-face interview, technical interview will be done via the face-to-face. Whenever they are going to conduct off campus means basically via the Google Meet, the interview can be done. The next is closing the interview. So once all the candidates are acquired for the particular type of job, then they will be chosen. Next, it's a time for them to close the interview. The next is about the evaluation of the interview results. Basically, it evaluates the candidate strength as well as the weakness against the job, right? And the organization requirements. The final decision is made on the basis of the results of all the selection techniques, right? So at